Hi everyone, and welcome back to another Brooks Price Action Weekend Market Update. My name's Tim Fairweather, and today I'll be covering the DAX 40 futures. So each week I review the price action on the higher time frame charts to get an idea for day traders how to position themselves for next week.
So as usual, if I'm going to do a weekly report, I always go up one time frame above, which is going to be the monthly. But I was on holiday and I didn't do a monthly report. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go up another time frame. So I want to look at the yearly chart. So what's happening on the yearly chart for DAX? Well, coming into the break, so context is always very, very important. So here we've got a tight ball channel. You can use leg counting, opposite bar, went below the low of a prior bar here, 2, pause, and there's 3. Now, what do you notice about this third leg? Well, this third leg is actually the strongest of all the moves going back the past 20 years. So that can mean a couple of things. One is this can be a breakout to a new high. So we've got basically a new high, a pullback. This is a high one buy. That high one buy triggered and traders got a really good entry bar. So if they bought the close of that bar, that's one possible entry. And if they bought one tick above that high, their one-to-one target is around about 20,100. So it's not a surprise to me that we're going sideways around here. 20,000 is a big round number. We're going sideways, small tails. But whenever you see a climax, you've got to think to yourself, well, if that climax gets follow through, then it's more likely to have a second leg sideways to up. A trader who's trading a bull channel might be taking profits at these new highs, expecting a pullback into the channel for a couple of legs and then another buy, but there's no sell signal on the yearly chart. This has a small tail above it. You can see here, we didn't go above the high of that prior year. That was 16,292. That's 16,300. We went above and we pulled back. Here was a big pullback. Consecutive bull bars closing on their highs. We pulled back to test the breakout point. Even though we came back another couple of times, we then shot up. So there's traders will use many different kinds of measured moves. You could put it in that gap. We exceeded it, could use an opposite bar, but we exceeded it. So on the yearly chart, we're expecting to go above the high of that. So on the cash index, which is what I have here, 20,521, we're expecting to go above that, which is only another 20 points. So that should happen next week. Now, the same approach we used on the yearly chart, we're going to use on the monthly chart. But the channel doesn't make sense there. We're actually in a much tighter channel here. Now, there's a couple of ways you can draw these channels. Here, I've just drawn a channel which has got the majority of the price action, and I pay attention to this middle line. If price dips below, it's typically going to come back. This is a small pullback bull trend, and it's running parallel to the moving average. The other way you can draw this channel is like this. Put one side along the moving average and another side taking all the price action. There's a third way you can draw this channel, and that is take the moving average as a line and attach it to the top of the spike. So this is the channel. And they're all saying the same things. Now, some traders won't draw channels that way. Instead, some traders will draw it, spike, pull back, and now we're in a channel, and they might draw smaller lines like this. So they see here was a failed break above the trend channel line. But the first break of that trend channel line is not a reliable short. Traders will be better off waiting for a first sell and then a second sell. So that means we're on a buy. We're currently on an inside bar. You're buying high. So if you're buying here, where do you put your stop? I think it's better to have a wider stop. Traders can see in July, there was a deep pullback. Okay, so if you bought above the high of the prior month, you had to have 1,700 points of drawdown. Now, interestingly enough, if you draw that pullback in, spike, pullback, that's a high one on a bear bar. That doesn't make sense. Technically, this is a high one above this, another bear bar. This is the first high one above a bull bar, weak signal bar, or you're buying above this bar. So I think there's two possible targets the market's going to use, at least on the cash index, depending on which signal bar you used. This was a better buy signal. This is also a good buy signal. Because the market is still breaking out, traders are looking for reasons for measured moves. Because measured moves are so reliable in price action, you have to assume that profitable institutions use them as well. And this puts a layer of targets above. 2,500, 2,800, 21,100. So on the monthly chart, we're always in long. This is not a great signal bar for a buy above, but in a small pullback bull trend, anytime you get an opposite bar, it forms a buy the close. Here's a buy the close. Here was a buy the close. Here was a buy below or buy the close. So you see that traders are not selling below anything. If you did sell above, you could make money, but any bear that sold above this bear bar is currently a little bit stressed. I suspect they'll get a chance to get out, but I would prefer to be long on this time frame. The monthly chart, we're expecting continuation in this tight channel. Now let's take a look at DAX on the weekly chart. I've got the cash index here. It has less gaps than the DAX 40, so I think it's a little bit easier for traders to read, certainly easier to talk about. So I've got a couple of measured moves on here, so let's explain them. Here was an attempt at a wedge. Now, if this was a 5-minute chart and the start of the day was down here, the first bear close below the moving average is a buy signal. The first bar that is completely below the moving average is also a buy signal. This is called a moving average gap bar in our Brooks's terminology. This was an incredible buy. It was also what we call a lower low double bottom. It could be a double bottom with, could be a lower low double bottom with June. It's functionally the same. It's a strong spike with 3 legs, 2 legs sideways to down, and now we're going up. We had an attempt at a wedge here, but I don't think this was a good wedge. I think this was an attempt at a breakout, which got follow through. 1, 2, 3, a small 2-legged move to the moving average and a buy signal. This is a high 2 buy. 1 leg down, pause with the doji, inside bar, another push down, and then a buy signal. If you didn't buy this on the weekly chart, you have consecutive bull bars, you need to buy that. I said to traders in my weekly reports, this was an excellent buying opportunity. I thought the risk was very low. At the worst case, you buy there and buy more below, betting will go sideways. But the best case is, because of all the tails at the moving average, I don't think traders are going to wait to buy below. When this bar printed, I said that this can very quickly go to targets, 20,000 and above, and it rocketed up at the start of the week. I had a couple of measured moves drawn, but you can see once we hit the 2-to-1 target from that buy signal, we started to go sideways. If you're a trader that didn't take profits there, you had a pullback, you basically had a high 1 buy signal here, which helped you get back to the 2-to-1 target. So now what do? Well, I think some of these swing traders took profits there. It was a good place to take profits. We raced past 20,000, which is a big round number, and we should go sideways there for a while. We spent 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 weeks at 19,000. So we probably need to do a bit more time, 20,000. Do you buy here or sell here? This is a bull micro channel. This is a bull breakout and follow through. Should get a second leg sideways to up. The signal bar was small. The entry bar was an opposite bear doji. The follow-through bar has got a big tail, so we might have already begun a trading range in here. This might form a triangle going into next week. I think this chart is a little bit more difficult for traders because this pullback was very strong. Often when the market takes off, you have these strong pullbacks that scare weak bulls out of the market. Here is one, 4 bull bars up and a big bear bar. A newer trader gets out of their longs here or sells there. I certainly did that for a number of years. Stronger traders are waiting for this bar as confirmation that the move's going to be up, either buying the moving average, buying the close, small and adding on, or waiting for a signal bar here or the follow through. This is coming late in the move. Now, what's more interesting about this pullback is that we tested the breakout point and we left a gap, what Al calls a negative gap. Now, if this gap stays open, you can see the top of this bear bar and the bottom of these bear bars, the bodies, is a small gap, and that's putting a target up at around 2,600. And that was one of the targets I had from the monthly chart. If we use the bottom of the bear bar here, that's one possible target. I'm more interested in this target here because I thought bears should have gotten a second leg down here. This was good, but no one wanted to sell. And that means all the bears are probably going to be above those bars, so I suspect we're going to go to that target. What do you do here? Can you buy it above this bear bar? Yeah, it's a breakout pullback. There's probably going to be buyers there, but you need a wide stop because the price action here is an 800-point drawdown on those positions. So you're looking to buy in a channel and scale in lower. It's not a strong buy above. It's not a strong buy the close. So there's probably a limit order buy somewhere there. I think I'd prefer to see the follow next week on the DAX weekly chart. Okay, so let's take a look at the DAX on the daily chart. So you can see here, I'm using the daily time frame. So we've got the overnight price action. It's the cash index anyway, so there's less gaps. I've got an indicator on here which is showing consecutive bars. I think this is very helpful for traders to remind us which spike is controlling the market. This was a very strong bull spike up and it reached a measured move, which I had on the chart. Where did the pullback go to? Well, it went to about 50%. So this is actually a healthy pullback in a trend. You can see here, this spike was very strong at the start of the move. And then this is a strong spike at what should be the end of the move. So this is a warning for traders. Is it going to be a spike expecting 3 more legs up? That's one possibility. Or is this a climax and we're making a double top It's actually setting up a better short. Well, this is an interesting situation because if this was a strong bull trend, the bears should not be able to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bear bars in a row. If I go back on the chart, on the daily chart, when was the last time the bears had 5 bear bars in a row? Here is 4, and this was the strongest leg down. This is April 2024. And can you see what happened? We went above that high. We went sideways. Now, even if you didn't get short somewhere in here, totally understand, but you need to get short up here. This is shoulder, head, shoulder. You can even see a smaller head and shoulder, smaller head and shoulders pattern here, left shoulder, head. So traders saw the failed breakout, traded it like a trading range, sold above this sell climax. When they got another set of 4 bear bars, they were looking to sell. Okay, so that was a profitable sell. So I think the market is going to have trouble going above these bear bars without the bears at least making money. So you can see if a trader bought the highest high one buy up here and scaled in lower, they made money. This is now consecutive bull bars. This is now 4 bull bars in a row. Big tails. This is closing below its midpoint. It's technically a bear bar, but it didn't trigger. This is an inside bar. This is a high one. And what was so interesting for me looking at the charts today is traders actually sold this high one. You now have 2 high ones on the chart that traders sold. I would say very high likelihood of a trading range. And that means if you are going to trade, you need to be looking for, you need to be betting on reversals and failed breakouts. I think the trade at the moment would be back to the moving average or wait for a second attempt to break out and a sell signal. Friday is a bear doji. It's closing below its midpoint, tails on both sides. Not a great sell below, not a great buy above. There is a gap down here. And I'm wondering if the market might just go back to the moving average to find whether there's still going to be buyers. I think the traders that were waiting for a good high one might have missed this. They might be looking for a second leg up. That makes sense. This move itself is strong enough to expect a second leg up, but it might be in pieces. 1, 2, 3. That would be a wedge top, a double top and a wedge top to create that double top, what we call a dueling lines pattern. This move down itself also needs a second leg, and I'm a little bit more interested in this second leg because this move was so vertical. But we'll have to see what signal bars we get on the daily. Are we always in long, always in short? Well, 4 bull bars above the moving average, always in long. All right, at least 2 consecutive bars you could argue, but tails, and it's actually testing a prior high after a big pullback. So I think some traders are going to see always in short has flipped and are waiting for the sell. Al says that the pullback from the prior move can often be the first leg of the new move. So is this a pullback for more up, or is this actually the first leg of what will become a bear trend, and we'll look back and say, oh yeah, that was the first leg there. So whether it has a higher high or a lower high will be less important than seeing what traders do at this high.
Well, thank you very much for watching. I hope you found that valuable. If you've got any further questions, please feel free to put them in the comments below. For those of you on the Brooks Price Action Discord, you can also reach me on there under Tim F. Otherwise, please tune into my channel. I'll be posting new videos through the week. Have a great trading week, and I'll see you next weekend.